Welcome to match day, game day, predicted lineup. Let's go. Aston Villa are in Carabao Cup action at Villa Park against Everton this evening. So we'll get stuck into that in a second, but we got some more news. We got some. Oh, I need a break. Do you know what I mean? Villa news. We're changing the badge. So the new badge, which is going to be the old badge, that isn't the new badge. We're still using the old badge from before the round badge. Yeah, we're going to have a new one. So, Ryan, how are you? Are you exhausted like me? Because I feel like when Villa drop a tweet, it's like, what now? What are we doing now?
I feel exactly the same, mate. Tired, exhausted. But I feel like I'm working for them, the amount of consultation that we're doing. But apparently, for a big decision like this, you have to be asked your opinion. So we're being asked our opinion again on yet another badge. This will make it free. So yes, I love the idea of 150 years and celebrating it that way, and having a badge that will commemorate that milestone. So I'm all for that. It's just what happens post that. Are we just going to have this one for a season, and in 12 months' time, are we going to be talking about a badge for the following season? I just don't get it. Me and you have both noticed subtle little hints towards a singular lion, which I think looks pretty goddamn cool. That is what I will be pushing for. I think a lot nicer. I'd prefer the lion flip back the other way. I'm still not, even though it doesn't offend me as much as it did originally, I still just don't, I'm not feeling it, not quite feeling it. So I don't know. It just it needs to be dealt with this summer and let it roll out. If we're going to go for this singular lion, maybe have 150 years on it, and then the following season ditch the 150 and just keep that staying style. It needs to really, really settle down there, because it just looks a mess, doesn't it, mate? It just, we've got different badges everywhere, different badges all over the club. You go on the website, there's different badges. You go on the Premier League site, there's different badges. It's a marketing disaster.
Disaster. Some people might be at home thinking, what the hell are they going on about? We've got a new badge. Well, let's paint the picture, basically. We'll tell you the story, and then we'll get into the Villa news, etc. Is that we, as season ticket holders, had the opportunity to vote out of two badges, the round badge and the gaslit lamp badge. And the majority of people voted for the round badge, with the lion facing the wrong way. So already, it's just weird. Anyway, so we all thought that we'd be going into sort of, as soon as the season finished, Villa would change all their pictures, all their branding. The stadium branding would look completely different with this round badge. But there was nothing, was there, until the kit was released. The day of the home kit being released, it came out that Aston Villa were going to attempt and have a look at how the badge is received on a global, local, and digital sort of platform to see what the vibe was. And from that moment, you knew that this badge wasn't going to be around for very long. So if you have a look at sort of the Sky Sports app, you'll notice that it's still the badge that's pretty much on your shirt, Ryan. Villa are currently still using the old badge, and the branding around the whole club is the old badge, not the round badge. So we knew something was coming. Then Villa dropped this statement yesterday. They've spoke about the fan advisory board subsequent to previous consultation process, the results of which currently adorn the 23-24 playing training kits. The club has been assessing the impact of the change from local, global, commercial perspectives, and have concluded that the club's crest has not had the impact which had been hoped for when it was introduced. So there we go. That's noise from the club. Any of you that have been eagle-eyed like me and Ryan, who are absolutely obsessed with Aston Villa, like many of you are, but we spot things and we notice things. I started noticing that whenever we'd sign a new player, there would be a standalone white lion on the videos of the new player signing. Then I've started to notice all of the hierarchy around Villa have been wearing blazers with this singular lion. And also, if you look closely behind Unai Emery on his press conferences, you will see a standalone lion. Now, that lion wouldn't be there just randomly for no reason whatsoever if it's got no sort of vibe to do with anything at all. As it currently, that standalone white lion means nothing to all of us, but it's everywhere. So, Ryan, what are your thoughts on this white lion then?
Yeah, I've noticed it on the lower grounds marketing as well. It was on there. If you go to the club shop and that new image above the club shop of all the players, that white lion is on there. So they're introduced slowly. And personally, I quite like it. It's not very fussy. It's just sharp. It represents Aston Villa. We are the Lions. You know what I mean? Yeah, there it is. There, I just think it looks super clean, super fresh. Could we have got Aston Villa in it as a global brand? But I think for something to go on a shirt, yes. But then you could add an Aston Villa on it when you're marketing. It doesn't have to be like Aston Villa on there all the time. So I'm on board. I'm on board with this singular lion. So hopefully it'll be something designed around that.
Me too. We just thought we'd bring you our vibe on the badge gate, being as it's hot topic number one. No, another little hot topic is wet gate. The players are looking very, very wet, and that also has come out in the last couple of days that the players have spoke to the Villa hierarchy about the kits being wet and weighing them down. I mean, if it's weighing them down, we are sort of winning games in a very soggy kit. So hopefully we can just get a new kit somehow and just get the players in a different fabric of kit, and we can just not look so wet. But yeah, so
how fast is the army going to be then, Luke? if he ain't got a wet sodden shirt holding him back, it's going to be rapid.
I just imagine if we'd still got that Adama Traore in his like sort of baby oiled arms with his soggy wet top. It'd be like, I don't know. It just don't look great, does it? So
you could there we go. You could see it coming from the players though, because like that other night in Legia Warsaw, it looked ridiculous. Didn't it? There's that picture of Chambers just like soaked through. You got Martinez with a patched up sponsor cover. It just looks so pony and. Yeah, you could just tell it's uncomfortable for them players to be playing like that. It looked like they've jumped in a swimming pool and jumped back out. Yeah. It's totally uncomfortable, and I'm sure Villa will be putting their foot down sharpish to get it resolved. Yeah,
definitely. It needs sorting because it's just not a good. Well, it's not a good look anyway, is it really?
No.
And I mean, even like for the brand of Castore, they must be like proper embarrassed with what it looks like. I mean, I know we've got this sort of claret background with the kit, but I don't know whether to make that look a bit wet or something, just so it sort of like blends in with the kit on the actual pitch. Because at the minute, our background to this episode looks quite dry. So,
but it's just us, though, isn't it, Luke? Like Newcastle, Rangers, Wolves, not a problem. Whether it's something we've asked for separately from whatever any other club's asking for, but whatever they've asked for, they haven't read the scope right, because it's not very good at all.
I know. So let's move on then to Carabao Cup action. Villa against Everton. I'm really looking forward to the game, but I imagine, I mean, where I sit in the Old 10, normally there's two seats to the left that are generally free, and then they'll be not free, and then they'll be free. And I reckon I might have the old row to myself. I've had a look at the how many fans are going, and There's not that many, to be fair, but Everton have got the whole north stand and their normal side allocation. So I think it's going to be pretty noisy from the Everton fans anyway. So let's get your thoughts then, Ryan. What you're feeling about the game? How do you think we're going to approach it rotation-wise? Are you expecting a lot of changes? Because I looked at the teams yesterday who played, and United made something like 7 changes. Wolves made loads of changes. So how do you feel like Villa are going to fare on that front?
Yes, I think we're going to see changes on the scale of the changes that we've seen against Legia Warsaw. I was expecting a stronger team that night, to be honest, and the more changes. This night, now, he went with that team. He had belief in that team. He had belief that these players could come in, especially against Warsaw, because that, we knew that was going to be a tough game. Emery even said he'd studied it, that they hadn't lost at home for 27 games, or they'd lost 1 in 27 or something like that. So we knew it was a tough game, but he still had faith in that team that he picked. And I don't think it'll be too dissimilar to the team that we'll put out tonight. I do think there'll be changes from the weekend. I do think that we will have an eye on the Brighton game. Of course, it's 3rd versus 6th. It's a big game. It's on the telly Saturday morning. So that is a game that we'll be looking to win and be 100% fresh for and fit for. So yeah, I am expecting changes. And this Carabao Cup, me growing up watching the League Cup, I've been to Wembley twice and seen us win it twice when I was a kid, and we were synonymous with this competition. We'd won it 5 times then, and then since then the way the whole competition has changed really since the Champions League got a bit more expansive, Europa League, Conference League, since all this European football come into it and more teams qualifying for it. It's took a back seat, really, the League Cup. It was an important competition. It was a big competition to win, and over the years it has diluted. And I think the fans' appetite for it has diluted a bit. We are set for a low crowd tonight, but I don't think it's solely on the ticket prices. It is high. It is high, and it is off-putting, especially if you're a parent and you want to take your kids down, and it's a school night as well. And then you look at the price and taking 2 of us, 3 of us, it's totting up, and you've just bought your free tickets for Europe as well. But historically, we've not had great attendances for these early rounds. We played Wolves the season that we got to the final. We played Wolves early. That was 34k. Then we played Liverpool in the quarterfinals. I know in the end they only played their kids, but that was like a last-minute decision, and we only got 30k that night. So the appetite for this competition, I don't think it's quite there, and I don't think any team now sets out to win that competition. I don't think anyone looks at it and goes, you know what, we're really going to try and win the League Cup. I think it just happens. I think you rotate in these early rounds, like I think we'll do tonight. And if you get to the 3rd, you get a nice draw, 4th and 5th. And I think teams sort of take it seriously, like quarterfinal times. Quarterfinals is when sort of the group stage sort of finishes, and then you've got sole focus on this before the FA Cup 3rd round starts. So, I do think, well, obviously we're going to take it seriously. We're going to try and win the game. We want to win the game. We don't want to roll over at home to Everton. So we do want to win that game. But we've got a squad, Luke, and like you said on the last predicted lineup we've done for the Euros, we've got a squad and we've got to use it. So these players have got minutes in their legs from Thursday night. You need to maintain more minutes, so they've got to play. So you need to play on Wednesday if they're going to play next Thursday in the Europa League conference.
Yeah, and I think, broken record, we've got a squad, we've got to use it. I mean, if you look at this sort of week, if you take into extent next week, we play Wednesday, Saturday, Thursday. Now, you can't expect someone like Konsa to play 3 games. He's already played every single game this season. I think he's played every single game. He needs a rest. He really needs a rest. And Something's got to give at some point, and I know a lot of fans, and I asked the members like what they think of the lineup, and everybody's sort of saying like a couple of changes here and there, and the general vibe is the midfield can be rotated to a good level, the forward line can be rotated to a good level, but the defense, it can't really be rotated to a good level because we've got injuries, and we've got injuries to a left back, we've got injuries to a centre half. So you're basically saying, well, we'll get into it now anyway. We'll get into it now, but you'll catch my drift in a minute. So what I'm trying to explain is, if, for example, Pau Torres doesn't play, Longley can play, which to me is okay. I know he got a lot of stick in the last game, and a lot of people are writing him off already, which I think we shouldn't do. So if Longley plays, Pau Torres probably won't play, but Konsa will have to play at centre half. So this is the predicament that we're kind of in with this defence. So we'll go keeper then. I think Olsen. Do you think Olsen?
I agree with you, Luke.
I mean,
Martinez will probably play the Euro games and Olsen Cup games.
Yeah, I think so. So we'll go centre back pairing then. What are you going with?
I think Longley comes in again then.
Mm-hmm. I think the thing with Longley is that he had a game in Europe, and we sort of rested Pau for that game, didn't we? Mm-hmm. And it would be really nice to rest Konsa for this game, but I can't see how we could possibly do that. I really can't. No. The only way I could see us doing it was if Emery pulled something out the bag with the shape of the team and potentially put Dendoncker in there.
Yeah.
And Dendoncker then would become sort of like when Kamaras does that sort of role where he's in and around there, Dendoncker could do that, but I still just think that's just too wild. We've got to have a balanced team here.
He has played centre-half, though, hasn't he, Dendoncker, before? I think he's played centre-half for Belgium and stuff like that. So he's capable of doing it, but...
I think it's in a 5 at the back, though, when he plays for Belgium.
Yeah.
So, he's got that added protection.
I think, anyway, at the start of the season, I thought Konsa was going to be playing a lot anyway. Like, in a 2, him and Mings, or him and Pau. But then as a 3, we started to see, when we didn't have the injuries, Konsa moved to right back anyway. So that right side, he's always going to be involved. So I've sort of had him down to play a lot of games. And, he's 25, he's in his prime, he's the fittest he's looked. He's touch wood, he's always been injury-free and healthy. So I think he starts this game purely because we haven't got another option. The only other option maybe is to play Chambers there, but I think that might just be a bit too weak, having them 2 centre-halves as the pairing for the first time and not really trialled anywhere else or pre-season or behind closed-door friendly. So I think we just need that steady head of Konsa just to guide this defence.
Definitely. Luke Dean has to play. There's no one else to play there unless Moreno's has a miraculous recovery. So right back then, I think... again, I think we've kind of got to get out of our heads that Legia game now and think they're still professional players and they hadn't played much. And Chambers did have a bad game, but he's got to step up, innit? Really, I mean, he was on the bench against Chelsea. This is the perfect game for Chambers at home, surely. Do you agree?
100% agree. Look, he hadn't played all season. Obviously, pre-season. Longley hadn't played since, I think it was like the 28th of May or something like that. But I think what I would like to see, like you're shaping up a bit there, Luke, is more of a back 3. The way we was going at the start of the season and Chambers not having to get up and down that byline like he did.
Against Legia, he was in and around that sort of area, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Now, just stay there. Just defend.
Yeah, he was instructed to push on, and that's where they got him behind us. And he was a bit at 6s and 7s, and I think, like you said, just there, it's perfect for him. He's played centre half before, he's played right back, and that's the hybrid role there. It should be tailor made for Chambers, and I think is it Jack Harrison? I think he might be fit, so he'll be looking down that left side. So I think solid in there, Chambers, and like you say, legs minutes in the bank from Thursday, so you should be mentally and physically more ready for this game.
And I think I would caveat this whole team and think, I think if Everton make changes, they're sort of like for like in personnel what they've got. I don't think their changes make them a whole lot worse. So if Beto doesn't play up top, it's probably going to be Calvert-Lewin. I don't think there's much of a difference there. If Garner plays, if Patterson plays, if Harrison plays, it still doesn't if Harrison plays, it means he's took McNeil's place. That's what I'm getting at. So I'll show you what I think for their team in a second anyway. I know we've already discussed what we think we're going to go with anyway, but I'd be happy not to see Luiz and Kamara. What are you saying about that?
I agree as well. The pair of them put a big shift in at Stamford Bridge, and we're going to need them to put a big shift in again at Villa Park when we play Brighton. They've sort of shared the workload, haven't they? Obviously, Kamara played at Legia Warsaw. Luiz, he was playing against Hibernian. So the pair of them have shared that workload, but I think it's time for both of them to step out on this occasion and just be ready for Saturday, really.
Me too, and I think that midfield looks good so far. Ramsey to get his first start this season, and then this is the area where me and Ryan had a bit of a difference in opinion with what to go with. So I'll say my three, and then you can do yours, and then we'll come to a happy medium in the middle. I am going with John Duran up front, Leon Bailey supporting Duran, and John McGinn as the next midfielder. What are you going with?
I was going a bit more attacking. I agree, Bailey, to give us that width. Okay. Duran, 100% deserves his start.
Okay, but
I was going to start with our match-winning goal scorer, Ollie Watkins. I just felt keep him on a roll, keep the minutes in his legs, keep him going. And we know what he's like. Once he gets one, he gets another, doesn't he? 9 times out of 10. Mm-hmm. So that was my thinking behind Watkins. Just a bit more firepower up front as well. I'd just like to see Watkins and Duran together. It's normally one or the other. So just like to see whether they could actually work as a pair. And I thought this game could be a good trial. I did also think about McGinn. His form's been a bit sketchy. He's sort of on the pitch, but his contributions haven't been great. He's really struggled to get into the game like we know he can do. Like his stats the other day, I did a piece for the website about the stats, and like I was shocked by McGinn. Like he had the lowest touches, he had the lowest pass completion. He just struggling just to get in the games. So this one, I thought, home crowd, it could be a good one to get his form back, get his confidence back. But in the end, I went slightly bit more attacking.
Yeah, well, we'll go with yours. We'll go with that. I like it. I think again, it's got changes, but I mean, it's still a good side. That I mean, I look at that and think, can that beat Everton? And I'm thinking, yeah, I think it can. I mean, if I share the screen now with this, what else I've brought up to this episode as well. So I've kind of put my team in just because I was just sort of like prepping the episode. So this is what I kind of feel like Everton might go with. Pickford, Patterson will come in for Young. Tarkowski will keep his place. Keane will come in. Mikalenko, Idrissa Garner and Onana, Danjuma supporting in that Decore role, Garner, Harrison, and Calvert-Lewin. What do you think about that Everton team?
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head. Really, it is pretty much personnel change like for like. The system isn't going to change much.
No.
Calvert-Lewin is trying to get back up to fitness. He had a right night, but he'd done his cheekbone, didn't he, in the fixture earlier in the season when we smashed them 4-0. So yeah, it's not too dissimilar from that opening weekend at Villa Park, is it? I think these two teams will match up pretty much the same. So yeah, I expect us to dominate midfield. I want to see Tielemans control it like Luiz has been doing. I want to see everything going through him. We've seen it against Lazio in pre-season. Now I really want him to have a good game now. He called it out in the last international break about getting more minutes, and he started against Legia. He come on at Stamford Bridge to see out the game, and he's got another start now, and he really needs to impress now. And I want to see a big dominant performance off him, because Luiz at the minute looks like irreplaceable. You can't touch him at the minute, and Kamara put in a display like we know he can against Chelsea. So it's a big position to try and get into, isn't it, Tielemans? So I'm looking forward to seeing how he performs.
Yeah, and I think if we do go with Dendoncker in there, I think it will give us sort of a little bit more balance for Tielemans to sort of maybe get on the ball a little bit and find Ramsey. And I think Ramsey and Tielemans might have a good little partnership if they get something going on that left-hand side. So yeah, I think this is what we're going to go with. Again, I mean, it's just to break down on how Everton are going to play. Powerhouse, second balls, that's what they were fantastic with against Brentford. They were just winning the second balls, churning over possession, in transition, getting players forward, and they really dominated. So
yeah, and
just got to be physical.
They want to keep that feel good, wouldn't they, Luke? They've got Luton on Saturday, so that's a massive game for them. Luton at home, that's one where they need them 3 points. You can't be dropping any points to Luton on your own patch. So they're going to want to keep that feel good, and they want to approach this game like they want to win it. And sometimes when you are in that relegation battle, down there at the bottom of the table, you can find a bit of escapism in this competition. We had it under Dino, didn't we? We went all the way to the final, and we took Man City into the width of a post to taking it to extra time and possibly penalty. So we have got to be wary of of that escapism and that release of pressure, and they can go and perform without any worries. So yeah, we've got to combat that as well.
Yeah, definitely. So hopefully everyone enjoys the game. Hopefully we get through to the next round. 3 home games in a row. So let's kick it off with a win then. So me and Ivan, we both went for a draw and Villa win on penalties. So what's your score prediction?
Oh, penalties! I forgot about that, innit? There's no extra time, is it? If it's a draw, it depends, isn't it? Oh my God, I bet I've been practicing. Let's go. I'll say 2-1. 2-1 to the Villa.
Love it. Hopefully we get through then. And the next episode we do is going to be the preview for Brighton. There's going to be no fan cams for this game, just because I don't think many people are going, and nobody that I know is going anyway. So, yeah, I'm just going to give this one a bit of a miss, because I don't have a cameraman to hold the camera for starters. And, yeah, I just think not many people are going. So, we'll be back anyway. Fan cams will be back for Brighton. So, stay tuned for that. We'll have match preview, press conference. We've got opposition preview. That's all going to be coming out before the Brighton game anyway. So, yeah, up the Villa.
Up the Villa.